Hello, I'm Josra and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Ready for more of my bad eyesight reading? So, yeah, I'm guessing today will be the day we choose the route between Lilly and Hanako. And as I said, I'm gonna do Lily's route first because it seems to be more popular. I'll do Hanako's later on. I mean, they're kind of similar to each other because, like I said, the girls are kind of paired up. And I also tried to change the settings, like, to see if there's like a text setting, but it looks like they don't. So, yeah. The students roll into the class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Muto lurches into the class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrolls some pages and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. He's completely atypical It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Finally, a dating December. Hello, Luna. I mean, what? Antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats behind me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. Dating symphony. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or is she making up for Shizune's lack of voice? Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I didn't even notice Muto approaching my desk. You technically did, because you... Never mind. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Muto stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So, tell me how things are. How are things? Things? I expected Muto to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see. And how is your condition? The pause between conditions seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems. You're lying. You're lying. He Sal. Emmy literally headbutted you and you almost died. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Muto's face. Good. That's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to minimize your potential within them. Maximize, sorry. Why did I read as minimize? Maximize within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far we're we're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mudo taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with these things, right? I mean, when I was in hospital for like a month, um, I didn't study. This was still in primary school, so it wasn't that serious, and they just sent me homework and told me that I could take it at my own pace, but I still did it because it was primary school. It was like easy stuff. That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week, there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the lay person, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Mudo's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mudo pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. Forgot today was also live. Hello, Firewall. How are you doing? I'm well. How are you doing? A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they were working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slump on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Mudo does not even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Mudo and I left it before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks, the remaining class time away, until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Finish cleaning my apartment, and in 2 weeks I'm going home. Ah, that sounds fun. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for these problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The class empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lilly. It's weird It's weird that Lilly comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sound of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lilly's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump from her desk and run to Lilly. They talk quietly for a moment, but it wasn't long before Lilly leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of the sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender finger reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lilly leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. That's right. I think Lilly mentioned something about going into town today, before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around. She's reading.
Don't judge me, Hisao. I like to read manga. It's little do you know, I'm actually a weeb.
And wandering around enjoying the afternoon. Make me yarn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, same Hisao, I decided that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. Don't. He doesn't strike me as the person enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Don't. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. Okay, this is important. If I go to the library, I end up in Hanako's route. If I go to town, I end up in Lilly's route. So, I'm saving this, because I plan... Wait, let's see if it's saved properly. Because I plan to go to, I plan to do Hanako's route in the future. Because right now I'm doing Lilly's. So, there's something to do that can kill time. We're doing Lilly's route. Because Why is he even considered a redditor? This one is calling me a redditor. Can you change routes midway? No, apparently as soon as Act 2 begins, because Act 2 is different for each character. That's when... This is the only time... Act 1 is the only time you could decide, technically. I don't know, that's how Ragnar explained it to me. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There was a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lilly. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other, obviously taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lilly. The exercise will do me some good as well. Walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. So you could end up dating the wrong girl by mistake if not paying it. Basically, yeah. That's how dating sims tend to be. And it's kind of like obvious, like even if you don't pay attention. For example, going all out with Emmys, when you're jogging and it says, should I go all out? If you went all out, that would have taken you to the Emmy route. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed right now. I remember what Lilly said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on study that I've missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. It's treason then. Well, I guess not everything's bad. I think you'll be happy with the Lilly route, Firewall. Pekka may have died in Danganronpa, but because I'm doing the Lilly route, you're gonna hear that voice a lot. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the school buildings themselves are immaculate and quite divorced from the dime a dozen concrete buildings of public schools. There's also the fact that there's a much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendlier atmosphere. At my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. So I looked up and Kenji apparently has fans. They like him, ironically, but has... Eventually I reached the gate and begin to walk down the road into the town. And also don't worry about me not using the quote-unquote Mikan voice. Like I said, Lilly and Hanako are very entwined. So if I took Hanako's route, I would still speak in the Ara voice. And even if I took Lilly's route, there will still be times when I have to use the quote-unquote Mikan voice. Eventually, I reached the gate. Oh wait, I already read that. That's why I say quote-unquote Mikan voice. To me, it's still that uwu voice. But I know you guys will just bug me until I call it Mikan. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of town, even including the houses perched on the hills from the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Wait, right. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strike me as incredibly unusual. Hello, Spiraled. Is that H silent? Is it Spiraled face or Spiraled face? I am confusion. All that's to be seen are the odd elderly person shuffling along the sidewalk, and all sorted busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quietly distracts me from them, though making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. Just call them Uzumaki. I just call them spiraled. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat on a wobbly old bench that I noticed near a couple of vending machines. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. I feel more like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. People says your primes tend to be in the 20s. They'll always be. Well, Lilly isn't in Danganronpa. My optometrist said something similar to me about how I have the eyes of a 60-year. This when I got my glass. Yes, surprise! I wear glasses. When I first got my glasses back when I was 10, the optometrist told me I had the eyes of a 60-year-old. So I had to go to the hospital, like not just the basic optometrist buildings. I actually had to go to the hospital once a year to check up on my eyes. It's calmed down a bit now, so I don't really need to go back that much. But yeah, the stay in hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually, my breathing returns to normal, and the muscles in my chest loosen, not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means the end of my sojourn through. This is the end of my little sojourn though, in any case. There's a cafe in the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few moments, I stand there, waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end of the corner of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. There's Yuko. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it, taking me by complete surprise. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you worked here. I really had no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff as well as apparently a waitress. Yes, drink cactus juice. Oh. She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in an overreacted bow. The quenches. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know. Well, some coffee, please. Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuko's formality takes me aback. She seems to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards a table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it's a certain Setao at the table. That said, I can't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Now wait, just a minute. I see you. I see you. This game came out in 2010. Blonde, fair skin, and only a shorter she? I think she must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lilly. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her after all. Hi, Lilly. Hisao? Yeah, nice to see you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. Know each other? I guess. It's as good an approximation of a relationship as I can think of. I was joking how Persona 5. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the creators of Persona 5 saw this game, but I doubt that. So she's like, Proto, Kawaii, Kami. You can't romance her. Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions may be in order. Also, Spiral, this game is free, so what money? Hisao, this is Akira Sato, my older sister. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guesses were correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the most analytical gaze with which she looks me over. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Older sister, huh? Yeah. In the beta version of the game, they made she's more of a reverse trap. Like, Hisao mistook her for a male multiple times. This time, apparently, yeah, Hisao still mistakes her for a guy, but only sometimes in the final version. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. Wait, that's a girl. I take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. Oh, you'll be surprised. Kind of a spoiler, but there's a trap in this game. You'll know when you see him. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently, becoming quickly bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. So, how's school recently? It seems Akira is completely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all listening to everything they say. Not that I mind. Leaving them to their chat, I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Trap radar on. Sounds like it's pretty busy for ya then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realize that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Where's Admiral Akbar when you need him? Whoa, so cold. Weren't you just cooking for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers.
That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least?
I can cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly.
That's...
It's fine, it's fine. I needed to learn sometime anyway. Ah, Lilly. Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko, who places a cup of tea on the table for Lilly. Taking a moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off her seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, I'd better be off. It's nice talking to you, Lilly.
Akira, do you have to?
Lilly looks genuinely mournful at her sister suddenly leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her.
Bye, Akira.
Come on, don't look so down. I'll see you again. I'll be around again soon. See ya. Hey, it looks like it's Fuyuhiko with long hair. With that, she walks out of the Shanghai with her hand held high. Lily looks pretty depressed, so I try to make some small talk in an effort to take her mind off it. She seems nice.
We used to live together, but now that I live at the school, we hardly ever see each other.
Despite Lily having been quite a fable, I still don't really know much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she's extracted from me, really. You used to live together? Was it somewhere around here?
It's pretty far south, so the trip to Yamaku was fairly long. With her work hours getting longer, and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into dormitories.
Well, that explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently, regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part.
I take it you're better rested now?
Sorry?
You sound a little exhausted.
You sounded less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick up my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. I mean, I was told at a young age that if one of your senses is like blocked, your other senses are stronger to compensate for it. Yeah, ended up walking all over town despite only planning to take a short walk down here. Reminded of my thirst from the walk, I lean forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I'd better get back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can still studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep before the festival. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table.
You're leaving?
Yeah, you going back as well? It's kind of getting late. It's getting kind of late. For a moment, she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup as she was looking at me.
Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please?
Okay, I'll bring it right away. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree given her otherwise collective appearance. That is true, my grandfather's eyesight was pretty poor and his hearing was on point. In a sense, it's kind of true for me too. Like, as you know, I've also been kind of open about this in chat. Like, my my eyesight's really bad. Like I said, back when I was 10, I was told I had the eyes of a 60-year-old. But for me, my hearing is above average, but it's not, superhuman. But my sense of smell is really strong. Like, I went to an anime cruise with unlimited drinks, and even though my friend only drank once, I could already smell alcohol from him, and he questioned me like, "How can you smell that?" In the end, though, I had little reason to refuse. To be honest, I could hardly say no, all things considered. After a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Wanting company then?
I'd say that it's more that I was wondering.
I see, she's in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious.
Do you have any siblings?
Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious.
Interesting.
I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the question well enough.
It's just that others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about subjectively, given that I've always had someone like that.
I can mostly understand what Lilly means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation. They'd been in all their life. I mean, I have 3 siblings. One of them doxed my dog Oreo. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about people. That said, those rare moments, she seems to slightly lower her guard, are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, the girl in front of you is giving a massive smug energy. Wait until she says, "Ara ara." I doubt wait, where did I get I doubt? I realized something I probably should have noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. She gives me a different type of energy, but I'm not gonna mention it in the chat. Is it mommy energy again? Well, it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school. I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Maybe. Don't lie. I know you. Given the large number of accommodations and faculties that the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kanji. Why did I say Kanji? Kenji. It makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Misha, and Lily are the exception for this school rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm, oh please don't. I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything. What's happened to me? Okay, good, no Kenji. Okay, now it's the festival. So right now we're going down Lily's route, and we have to carefully choose to get the good ending. And once we get the good ending, we're gonna move on to Hanako. Even though this series at first I thought this series was gonna be quick because it's a dating sim, but yeah, I realized now dating sims could be very long. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles into plates for people with a craving for low quality food. Damn it, Jaws, and I would have gotten away with. Like what you said. Like what my friends. In a sense, you said it, but like what my friend says, I have maternal instincts IRL. I can kinda tell what people are thinking. Like a mother. I'm not saying I have mommy energy, I'm just saying I've been told to have maternal instincts because I like to care for people and I could tell what people are thinking. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Wait, I'm gonna take something off. Okay. Finishing my morning routine, I exit the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today. Out of impulse, please don't. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with no girls allowed. Oh, it's that meme. They're talking about that meme. And with the girls crossed out and body crudely scroll underneath it. To be fair, I'm not actually serious when I call. Yeah, I know. But my friends IRL, they don't call me mommy. They just say I'm mom-like. No one calls me mommy, seriously, they just say I'm mom-like. Like, I think like a mother. And they're knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign. I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. It's really not that early. What is it, man? Nothing, just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already. Out where? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are they? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? Yes. He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside. People selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart out the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh, shit. That's today? Oh, damn. Damn. Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is going to be very bad. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Bad day or big day? I didn't read that properly. Oh, text history. Oh, bad day. Oh, I did read that properly. Why? Oh man, they're going to be everywhere. The people outside my window, socializing. Yes, Kenji, turns out all women in the world are actually reptilians, and they are coming for you specifically. Like, they don't want to kill anyone else, they just want to kill him specifically. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's going to be loud as hell. Damn, and I was going to go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn. And I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Okay, Kenji's sounding... Are you Ken? I know I said this last week, but are you a Kenji? Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today. The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not. It's not though. There's no reason, just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. There's no good reason to just stay inside. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. Ugh, no, I can't do it. They'll eat me alive out there. I know it. That has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight. What are you going to do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together. Okay. Kenji is written way too specific, way to be made up, so I'm sure who wrote Kenji based him on a person he knows? Probably. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class projects seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see it at least that one and chat with Lilly, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow. That's in a way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. So, you hate Lilly not because she's a girl, you don't like Lilly because she's blind. You're blind too! What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see further than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphysical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one, unless the threat of women is stifled. I will strangle you with your scarf. They are everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he is trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. Like, I think you guys are starting to see a pattern with how I react to Kenji and Kazuichi from Danganronpa. To me, women just needs to be treated equally. They don't need to be simped over and they don't need to be hated. Same with men. Men don't need to be hated and men don't need to be simped over. Everyone just be treated like a normal person. That's all I want. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this terrible day. I had the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Knock his own lights out? So he's gonna hide and... Okay. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about that. What Kenji just said. Exactly, I'm willing to punch. Like, we're all humans at the end of the day. Then again, because of childhood experiences, I have a trust issue with one gender. But I'm not gonna reveal it because it's kinda sexist and controversial. But I'm just warning you because of my childhood trauma. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away on the rather bland tasting item. Equal rights, equal fights. Hello, Ragnar. How are you today? I guess I can't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. Oh, and get shit on. Also, I told this to Ragnar. In my school, we also had a festival like this, and I helped out because my friends did a taco stall, and I helped out. I got nachos. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by their parents or grandparents scamper about in the din, from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized colorful snack. I could use a snack right now. I am hungry. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly. Everything that I also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here for their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. My school once had a festival as well. I was supposed to help. So you are Kenji, because Kenji's supposed to help out his class stall, but he ditches them to build a fort. Don't worry, I'm not gonna call you Kenji. I guess that also goes away to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. My school never had festivals like this. My school has at least 3 festivals a year. But now that I'm in university, we don't. Actually, university has the open days, so they're kind of festivals. The heat though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting. Now that the hottest part of the day is here. If I get moving, I could gah. The sound of Carolyn bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intangible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. I do like Reddit for not safe for work art. However, I currently no longer have a Reddit account. You deleted your Reddit account? That just feels like a European thing than anything. I'm Australian, and I'm not sure if all schools do festivals here. I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, our high schools also did houses. Like, my high school had 4 houses. I was in the red house. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. Who calls people charges? The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. Yeah. I've come to make an announcement. Shao the Hedgehog is a bitch's mother. I decide to fall back on a tired and trusted rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Fun fact, my friend Luna was here earlier, the one who was called Nobody. Luna, she dared me to do the Eggman announcement in my Ara voice. It was very funny. I couldn't hold in my laughter, so I messed it up a lot. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. I decided which to visit first. I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Do it again? I don't know. Lilly's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as how it's going after all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. So she asked Lilly to make a shadow announcement. I've come to make an announcement. Shizune is a bitch-ass mother. I forgot Shizune's last name, so I can't make the full announcement. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, with the equipment for cooking strewed everywhere. It's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As the student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. Hachimichi? So, so if I were to say it as Lily, it'll be like,
I've come to make an announcement. Shizune Hakamichi is a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Hanako do. Hanako doesn't hate anyone, so I don't know. As a student in front of me takes a bowl. Oh wait, I already read that. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears beneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. But didn't you say Mikan and Hanako are the same person? Hanako hates you. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the beta, she outright kills you. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them. Talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. Also, Ragnar likes to joke around with this. If we took Hanako's route, you're kind of a dick to Lily. Because in this route, you help Lily out with her stole. Meanwhile, in Hanako's route, it's like, nah, I should probably leave her alone. She's busy. And Ragnar jokes around saying, yeah, Lily's fine. She doesn't need help. She's busy. I don't want to be a bother. Like Ragnar made his house sound like a dick. It was hilarious. You guys should see it one day when he plays this game. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Fun fact, in Danganronpa V3, Monokuma goes in a 5-minute rant about how much he hates Sonic the Hedgehog. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere.
Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like?
It takes me a second to remember that I'd come here for what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting in the corner. Oh, I guess some miso soup?
Ah, is that his cell?
Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. There she...
Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we need.
Lily has daredevil powers. She's gonna be fine. When I played with Ragnar, we also made a joke that she was daredevil, because canonically speaking, Lily is Catholic, and I'm pretty sure Daredevil was Catholic too. Won't serving smaller portions cover the problem? I can't even use the word mommy as much as Ragnar does.
It seems that's what we'll have to do. Though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either.
I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left?
That's right. She's going to try and round up a few of our classmates to help.
We can tell, Ragnar! It's bright as day. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glanced backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. You didn't have the comma, so it sounds like you're calling Ragnar a mommy. Oh damn, she's Catholic? I didn't know. I like tiny character detail that adds to the character. Here's the money for the soup.
Soup? Oh right. Coming right up.
Lilly turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them. She counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Evidently satisfied that I've handed over correct change, she puts into her small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Isn't Mommy Ragnar just Revna? Yes. Thanks. I'll come back to drop off the bowl.
Thank you, Isao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako?
Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment.
It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival.
Okay, I'm telling Revna that you're calling her mommy. I mean, I think she calls herself mommy, but still.
You'll come back when you're done then.
Sure. I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too.
Thank you, Isao.
I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the seeming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before. Dumplings? But you said you ate takoyaki! This is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be. Perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but somewhat feel guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. I'm calling her mommy. Firewall. I'm not calling her mommy. Firewall is. Yeah, sure. I was just asking, and you confirmed, Ragnar. It can't really be helpful considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Evidently, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lilly still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right, I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. In Hanako's route, she doesn't do this. Lol, interesting chat. Jimmy! Look, Firewall! I didn't kill Jimmy! If you weren't here yesterday, Jimmy, you don't get it, but they said I killed you. They were playing Among Us in chat and they're like, Jaws killed Jimmy, that's why Jimmy isn't here. As I place the bowl to the counter, I call up to Lilly.
Ah, Hisao, you brought it back?
Welcome in, Kim. Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands, and she takes it to someone who is apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, It's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey, Lilly? She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. Want to go see some of the festival? She puffs her cheeks disapprovingly. It looks kinda cute and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. It takes a few seconds for me to see what she's taking issue with. Whoops. I didn't mean to. Lilly giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is.
You're still not used to the school, are you?
She got me.
Still, I kind of need to stay with our stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked.
I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me considering how much work she's put into this. Everything seems to be running fine now, though. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. A boy in the middle of cooking some soba noodles turns towards us grinning. Go on, Lils. Wait, because she says Lils, I'm gonna sound as full Aussie as possible. Go on, Lils. You've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now. This is the part of... Oh no. Okay, Ragnar. We know you like to play the adult patch.
If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help,
then we'll call ya. Go on, we'll be fine. That's not the same Aussie voice I give Emmy, because Emmy with Emmy I tried to combine my lolly voice with my Aussie accent, and I end up failing. Trying to make history. Lilly finally gives up her resistance as he waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lilly seems kinda worried about her, and I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy mellowing about in crowds like this all alone. You know, building relationships is nice, but when do we get to smash waifus? And not safe for work. Yep. Wait. This button. This buttons. Jimmy can't be killed. Just a little busy with my job. I catch Joss's stream when I can. Also good to see? I didn't kill him! And you guys were accusing me of killing Jimmy! So, I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first? I feel like Lilly would probably want to say,
are you a dumbass? Hisao, it's clear Hanako will be in the library.
The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room? You should... What happens with the adult... uncensored... sex scenes. Like, yeah, they actually show the nude parts. And because this isn't actually... Despite the game being, even though the game seems like it's made by Japanese people, it's actually made by non-Japanese people, so they didn't censor it. Because a lot of my friends complain that in Japanese not safe for work, they tend to censor stuff. They don't really censor it. So yeah, in the adult, if I turn off the adult patch, you actually see everything.
I doubt that. She probably doesn't. She doesn't keep too many things in there. She'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library.
As as good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. If they turn it if they turn on adult content, Jaws gets banned. And in Twitch I will also get banned. So even if I was a Twitch streamer, I will not be able to turn it on. Keep it disabled. I don't want. No, Kenji, even if it's disabled, Kenji's part doesn't show because Kenji is a joke character, so he doesn't count. The library it is. We'll check there first then. Aside from the muffled sound of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're relatively quite large by any other school standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lilly anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hands skating along the hallway railings. Imagine being banned for showing not safe for work on stream. Couldn't be Jaws. You know how clumsy I am? I am very clumsy. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up, though, sometimes. I haven't been there as long, and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I remember right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside, and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd been living in the dormitory since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. Yes, you told us when you barely touched the table. It didn't go flying 10 meters, it just went flying like a good 2 centimeters. So I'd have to check, but they might still show the not safe for work sprites. I saw the sprites in one of the a screenshot. They're still wearing underwear, so it's fine. And seeing how there's a lot of people who wears bikinis in vlogs, I don't think I'll be banned for that. I'll probably be demonetized, but I'm not earning money anyways. I'm still a tiny baby VTuber, so it doesn't really matter. And plus, I'm not doing this for money, I'm doing this for entertainment. I am a tool of entertainment. I'd assume... Oh wait, I already read that. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'm actually getting really hungry. I'd assume that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to, in any case. Oh, okay, yeah, you'll be fine. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point. I don't see why you would introduce option if the game's gonna show. Yeah. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of those reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. Her own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or, in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place.
It's good to hear you say that. I thought I thought you were coming to dislike it.
What about what about you what about you though? What about you though? My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise.
I've been here for a while, so
It's not that. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. Or Akira. What's with that look?
Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisao.
Lily never sees how fast my palm meets my face as at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. While she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. There she is. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako!
Hanako is here.
As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she's been reading on Friday. Darn it, Hisao.
Hisao, Lily. They're not tattoos. How many times do I have to tell you? They're not. It's not a two-face cosplay. Why is everyone being mean to me? Why is everyone bullying me?
Okay. Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help.
That wasn't really an escape.
Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us.
I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying that festival.
Well now, can we enjoy it together? We can fuck. Oops. Far out. Well now, we can enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library and towards the festivities. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take 2 styrofoam cups. What's your profanity? I thought she was...
Why is everyone being so mean?
I try styrofoam cups. I try to insinuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those two in the garden while I bought drinks. I tried to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine. Isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place, lit by moonlight. It's tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the I got tongue twisted there. She needs some jasmine tea. tea is nice. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Isao. That horrid movie. Her eyes are good. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close, and hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry, it's instant, but it's all they have left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand, and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it's pretty fun. An honest answer. Much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. In fact, I think those two may have enjoyed themselves more than I did. With both Lily and me around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature about others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Hey Lily, look at this fireworks. Oh no. As we sat drinking, the whistling of the first firework rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowds scattered around the school grounds celebrating them. Yo, Lily can't watch the fireworks with her eyes closed. You guys are becoming Ragnar when he was doing Hanako's route. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watched the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow star-shaped, circular and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colors fill the air, one after the other, and dance across the sky. No place near where I live put on such lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these two, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. They say love is blind, right? In Lily's case, that's quite literal. So, that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I walk forwards and stand beside Lily, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we will still have Tanebata later in the year, right? You're right. It'd be nice to go there when it comes. You can cheat on Lily while she's in the same room. But she's not deaf, she can see it still. Minutes of silence pass, with only the blast of fireworks to be heard. Seeing these two remind me of words of advice Lily had given me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lily? She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening. Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the telecolor fireworks bursting ahead. You mind if I join you two for tea every now and again? In theory, you can, but would you? I know you're blind, but you need to see.
The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be my pleasure. It would be a pleasure, Isao.
Yep, here's the opening. As you could see, this is Lilly's route. Hanako, don't at me. Each character, when you're about to take their route, has their own anime opening. Because we took Lilly's route, this is Lilly's anime opening. Hanako has her own, Shizune has her own, Emi has her own, and Rin has her own. Yay. Lol, I love the CJ dialogue firewall. Act 2 passed. Yes, it took us 2.5 streams to get through Act 1 because I'm partially blind and can't read. Imagine Lilly just gets isekai, but... Oh, apparently in Hanako's beta route, someone actually confessed to her and they got hit by a truck. But they removed that in the main game. I awake to the annoying din of my alarm clock. Its bright red numerals lighting up my face. I kind of want to end the stream because I'm hungry, but I'm not gonna end the stream, don't worry. It's the same alarm clock I had home. One of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I hope that using it would help ease my transition into a new life. Later? No, I'm not ending the stream! I'm not ending the stream! You know what? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab a snack. So, I'm gonna eat on stream. Okay, I'm back. I got myself gummies. So you're gonna hear me chewing some gummies. I already read that. No such luck though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wiped the sleep out of my eyes and reached to my desk. I opened a couple of bottles of medication, strewn across it, and swallowed a few pills. Jimmy asked when is Lilly gonna smash us, and I said later. By now, the process is starting to become automatic. Something I should be glad for, given their purpose. Let's make sure to put mic audio on full blast so we can hear rape. Feeling much more awake than before, I wandered into the bathroom. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind, as do the two girls with whom I spend my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Yeah, I hope there's no Kenji. The under there Mikan ties you up while eating gummies for 30 minutes. Or Mikan got tired of Hiyoko, so she ties up Hiyoko and eats her gummies in front of her. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to. Now, aside from my schoolmate next door. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. Walking through the classroom, I notice that I'm somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather be still in bed. That would be me at school. It's at times like this that I appreciate being a morning person. I am not. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. Hiyoko. Hi Shizune. Hi Misha. Oh no, I have to use that voice while eating gummies, I guess. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly bothered. Or interested in that matter.
Hello, Hello, He-chan. Are you feeling well?
I could only assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking for herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. Who says bright and chipper nowadays? Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it. Electedly, a somewhat terse answer of her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indications. You really hate Shizune. Considering that these two made such a big deal of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully.
Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future.
Well, I'm gonna throw my gummy and keep reading. Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Suzune continues unabated.
Well, your contribution to 3-2's stall isn't as appreciated.
Huh. Word sure got around quickly. That or these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school.
We would prefer your efforts be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class.
As much as I hate to admit it, they do have a point. Before I can respond though, Shizune adds something more which draws a smile from Misha.
Did you enjoy the festival then?
Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you two enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. Apparently she doesn't have a disability, but there are theories that she that she might have ADHD, or another fan theory is that she's lesbian and her parents sees it as a disability. But that theory is not that accepted. The theory that her disability is ADHD is widely accepted. Wait, did I read that? I don't think I read that. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. Oh wait, never mind. I didn't skip that. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize that she's already there and contently reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. So Misha, yeah, they explain later on in the game that there are ordinary students in the school. Even though in the first act they kept saying they didn't really have that much normal students. So maybe things got changed during the development. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway signaling Mudo's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. Sorry. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous grunt. His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lilly and Hanako about the staff was misplaced. Ah, I got a yellow one. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk, and the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from our work. Oh. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lilly standing there, cane in her hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decide to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I catch up. Lily's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her as Hanako notices and follows her lead. She almost jumps in surprise.
Hisao? Hello, Hisao.
Hi, sorry if I startled you. Lily turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako.
Good afternoon, Hisao. Are you joining us?
If it's no trouble, there's not much else to do, really. Lily gives a small nod, as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling in the least. Yellow one? The gummy that that Becca used to confuse? No, I literally grabbed the yellow one. It was pineapple flavor. I didn't really like it. I don't really like pineapples. In fact, in my debut stream, I actually made a rant about pineapples on burgers. I don't mind pineapples on pizza because sometimes the pizza and ham overpowers the pineapples. But pineapples on burgers, that's a whole can of worms. We descend one set of stairs and walk down the hallway to the usual room. Our pace is somewhat quicker than usual thanks to Lily using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane and the railings. What flavor is this? I think this is peach. I think about peach. I've never met a person that liked pineapple. You'd be surprised. As expected, it's deserted, and the sounds of the other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from outside. And this is where Ragnar said, "This is very cute. This is very wholesome. I wish that were me." Right, Ragnar? Looking around the room, I notice a couple of empty skulls propped up against a wall. I don't want to talk about it. My first piece of fan art was someone drew a chibi of me with ranting about pineapple and burgers. Where was I? Against a wall that I don't think were there before. The art club must have used this room as extra storage.
Should I get the chest out?
Haneka's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lilly.
Yes, I'll make the tea while you sort the pieces.
I can do that for you if you'd like. She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling and confirming that I've made the right choice. Her face is unremarkably easy to read.
Very well, thank you.
She slides her retractable cane into the handle of her bag and sets it against one of the table legs before taking a seat opposite of Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set out on the board. I wonder how good Lilly is at chess, given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups onto the table, Lilly and Hanako have already moved their first pieces as they nibble on sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. I note that the chessboard that they're using has holes in the middle of each square and pegs on top of the pieces. And wait. Sorry. I'm just really hungry. Pegs on the bottom of the pieces. How would you notice it in the bottom? And has each dark squares slightly raised. Watching Lily's fingers skating over the board, tracing out the positions of the pieces, makes me marvel a little at the simple integrity of the design. They must be specifically made for blind players. They do. Emmy can be a bit of a spoiler, but I'm not doing her route, so I think I could say Emmy's. Emmy lost her legs in a car accident, and Rin was just born without arms. It was a birth defect, apparently. Here you go. Hanako gives a small nod as I put down the cup next to her side of the board. Lily's hand ventures sideward slightly, so I gently place the cup, touching the tips of her fingers, a gesture she seems to appreciate. I finally take a seat and silently sip my tea as the two play. The contrast of their appearance while playing is interesting to watch. All I'm saying is, the chess AI. Why? Hanako looks closely at the board. Her face one of focused concentration. Lilly, on the other hand, keeps her head level and maintains her calm neutrality. Lily's gentle voice addresses both of us as she continues to play.
How is class now that the festival is over?
I look to Hanako to see whether she'll answer first, but see that she's doing the same. Not great. Half the class seem to be dozing off, even including the teacher. Not to mention a test on top of all that. Have fun with Lily. Okay, I'll drop by your stream later, because I'm about to reach my 2-hour mark. So, wait an hour and a half. I'll hop in on Ragnar's stream. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement with this.
I could imagine that being a bit difficult for you, being a transfer student.
Well, I think I did fine, other than the shock of a test coming so early. Science is probably my best subject. I mean, biology was my best subject in high school.
How'd you do, Hanako?
Me? Okay, I guess.
Hanako's too sincere to be able to pull off lying very well. That much is obvious. Lily's smile slips very slightly. From her reaction, Hanako must have been skilled enough at academics. Mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. So Lily literally just called Hanako dumb. How did your class handle it, Lily?
It went surprisingly well. Actually, only one student was absent, which is better than what the teacher expected.
That was probably Kenji. With the topic all but run dry, the two concentrate on their chess game once again. I can't say I've ever liked the idea of chess as a spectator sport, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. I think he just Also, follow my mouse. Look what I mentioned this in the first stream. Look what his Sao has. He is an ahoge. He is a protagonist. As time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game. Having captured 2 more pawns than Hanako, Lily has the upper hand, but only slightly. I am here. Not late, can't prove it. Hello, Raids. Until... He's a true Danganronpa protagonist. Also, if Raids, if you hear chewing or a bag wrestling or me stopping mid-sentence, it's because I'm eating gummies right now because I'm very hungry. After the stream, I'll get proper food, don't worry. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen. Seizing upon this lapse in judgment, Lily takes the place with her knight. Without hesitation, Hanako moves a pawn to take Lily's rook on the opposite end of the board and promotes it to her queen. Lily's face falters as her finger moves over the piece, and she realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have the board traced out after each move, even if it's out of necessity. Surprising for a dating sim with adult content. Yeah. Like I said, like I said, if it was a Japanese game, like an actual Japanese game, like it was made by Japanese developers, then you would have expected it. But this game, despite being set in Japan, I'm pretty sure were made by Americans. Either way, they weren't Japanese, the people who made this game. Later on, the game was translated to Japanese. I think it was 2012. Anyway, I might. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not important. There's more important things in life. So do whatever you need to do. You could watch the recording of the stream because it's YouTube. It's not Twitch. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lilly must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all.
Check.
That's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. The compliment causes her to flower into a surprised blush.
Thank you. I didn't think it would work.
It's just that I'm a time crunch from 3 weeks. That reminds me of how Animal Crossing got translated to English and then the English port of the game was translated again in Japanese. Why? I look over to Lilly, her fingers having just finished tracing out the position of her remaining pieces in an attempt to extricate her king from this bind. I think this is checkmate. I take another look at the board to confirm. Sure enough, her king has nowhere to escape without being threatened by another piece. My earlier question as to which of them is better at this has just been answered. So it is. It's either I eat after stream or I just go to sleep. Like I said, I am dropping by Ragnar's stream straight after mine, so yeah. Lilly gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles. From their reactions, this seems like a fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing?
Since I was young.
Lilly nods at Hanako's brief answer. Also, Ragnar told me this. Like, I never really got that far in the game. I just watched Ragnar play. As you notice, Lilly's name is Lily, like the flower. Hanako, in Japanese, Hana means flower, and ko means child. So Hanako, flower child, and Lily's a flower. So technically speaking, their names match. Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it. If Lily came to Yamaku at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved to the dorms, that means she'd only been playing for about a year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not too surprised Lily has trouble beating her.
But she's better at languages than I am, so...
Lily gives an appreciative, if slightly amused smile at Hanako's quick reversal of her compliment. Well, that's how it is. Much to everyone's surprise, the bell suddenly rings, heralding an end to the lunch break. The game lasted longer than I thought it did. Same. I guess we'd better get back to class. She called us her king. she was looking at us. She's how it's a type. It's the chessboard. Hisao mentioned it earlier. Like, there's like spots, and some of the pieces are some of the squares are elevated, and each piece was marked. So Lilly needs to touch the board when Hanako makes a move and when she herself makes a move. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lily's bag and offer it to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down on the table.
Hisao, may I make a request?
Sure, go ahead.
Would you mind if I were to quickly feel your face?
No. Go ahead, I don't mind. The question takes me severely off guard, but once I regain my composure, it seems sensible enough. So far, Lily's had no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. This is the scene Ragnar finds very cute. I'm gonna take another bite of my gummy. Lily raises her right hand, which I take in mine and guide to my face before letting go. The room is entirely silent as Lily's hand moves over and feel my features. From my chin to my cheeks, to everywhere else. I expected this to feel a lot more disquieting than it does. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practicality than functionally, being factually no different to simply looking at someone's face. Her hand is soft, but what takes me by surprise is the length of her fingers, not to mention how sure even the slightest of her movements are. I have no doubt that her level tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Last and asexual. I'm a romantic, so I'm kind of your counterpart. Raise. Her hand briefly runs once through my hair before retreating. I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now too that I realize Hanako has been silently watching the entire time.
Thank you for letting me do that, Hisao. And if I might add, I think you are quite handsome.
I blush a little at her remark before raising a questioning eyebrow. But if you can't see, how?
Just because I can't see, that doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences.
We better go now.
Hey Lily, guess the MC's hair color. If you guess wrong, you have to date him. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll see you later then, Lily. And Lily literally just says, "You're my type." Because Lily's like, I have my own preferences. Walking through the hallway back to our classrooms, I noticed that Hanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. Lily, her hand on Hanako's shoulder, seems to pick up on her assured pace as well, smiling as they walk. If I could spend the rest of my time at Yamaku like this, I don't think it'd be so bad. All that's needed for joy are small exchanges of happiness after all. Look at Hanako smiling. Don't worry, we'll do her route after we do Lily. As I reach my desk and set my bag beside it, I realize something, or rather, my stomach does. I was so busy with those two, I forgot to buy lunch.
I
forgot to eat. Saturday, my second most favorite day of the week. I almost choked on a gummy. This is almost entirely due to the fact that this is the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. In my high, I'm pretty sure all of Australia does this. We have half days on Thursdays, so everyone loves Thursdays in Australia. Well, high school students, primary school students didn't have half days. I opened my door confidently, myself being more confident of being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and shorter class length. Oh no. Please, no. I don't want to run into Kenji. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Hey, sup man? Not much, I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon, you? And choke Kenji with a gummy. He wraps his arm around my slumped shoulders far too comfortably. Something's up. Let's step outside, shall we? Before I must. Let's have fun, Raze. I was just about to before you stopped me. There's Rin's mirror. He doesn't take my reaction to his theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and step down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me. I wonder if he wants money or to run about another conspiracy, maybe both. I won't, but I have to do. Your people needs you. Like I said, there's a lot. I'm just here for entertainment, here to liven up your day. I'm not supposed to replace your day. Have fun, Raze, whatever you need to do. I've got a bone to pick with you. Uh-huh. It's about that blonde. You know who I'm talking about. Conspiracy it is. For a moment, I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it out. Get it all out. No, you replace the day. Lilly, the one from your class? You're on first name terms with her? He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs into his fist, dramatically, like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you. You know, man to man. Warn me about what, Lilly? Yeah, you don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks, and even then, we've just been exchanging banter chatter around about school as we while wait what? School as we while away lunch. Oh. Dude, you let a woman touch your face? What are you, gay? I'm pretty sure you don't know either. That's not the point. You're the one spreading inordinate amounts of times with her. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could get, knows about such trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I am a transfer student, and she's not only the representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate his ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in his in this school, and I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special. Look, man, under the bridge. See this bridge? You're under it. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do to get intel. I will break your glosses. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. It's okay. Lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit, bad shit. You know the student council, right? He seems to involuntarily shudder as he says the words. Putting him and Shizune together in a room is an amusing mental exercise. I wonder if they've met. Also, I'm putting my gummies away. I'm pretty sure someone explains because a girl broke his heart. That's why Kenji acts like this. Yeah, Shizune and Misha are in my class. I seem to have dodged their draft though. Good, man, good. But this blonde, she was there in the student council. Right damn there. I see, and she's not there now. Seriously, think about it. Something must have gone down. I stopped for a moment, giving the idea more thought than I probably should. It would explain that fight the two had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council would need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me though. Okay, now feel this one. Lilly's foreign, obviously. Obviously. Now, what nationality is she? I could tell you, but it'll say later in the game. I opened my mouth to give an answer, but realized that I had none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. She's half Japanese, you could tell from her last name, Sato. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, though, I am rather curious. To be honest, I don't know, maybe English? They like tea, so does the Japanese. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but it's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me here to think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushes off the quip effortlessly. Yeah, she's... Never mind, yeah. There's no point of hiding it. She's Scottish. Now answer me this. Who has lots of social power? Who has lots of social power is filthy stinking rich. You know, blondes are all rich, right? No, they're not. One of my friends IRL is blonde and he's broke. Has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization. You looked it up. The Roman Catholic Church? Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the Mafia. Come on, rich, foreign, there's no way she doesn't have connections to them. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deductions, but he shows no signs of stopping. So, do you know where I think she's from? Italy? Mainland Italy is small time, dude. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no, Russia. Damn, this could be bad. The mafia there is serious business, man. Ex-KGB. Everywhere. Paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... I like how I say that, but you can... I can't do a Scottish accent, and I have Scottish friends, so I don't want to offend them. I mean, later in the game, you do speak to her mom, and her mom has a Scottish accent, but I'm still not gonna do it. Like I said, I'm only giving voice acting to dateable options, except for that one guy who called Lily's Lils, because it felt fitting. Wait, stop. Just slow down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You don't know what she'll do, man. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that. But I just want you to be careful. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Well, at least it's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out to our representative classes. But I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Piling my books into my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books I'd borrowed last week. I might as well return them, considering they took all of 2 days to finish. I briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the library, but she's already gone. It'll probably be better for my studying if I'm alone. Anyway, with a quick stretch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. Every 60 seconds with as I open my bag and shove the books to the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk. Old and graying. You must be Yuko's replacement when she's working at the cafe. She must be. Why did I say you? She. I begin looking for a free table. A task made somewhat difficult, considering that despite there not being many students in here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lily's concentrating hard or not. Her fluctuant expression, holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Mind if I caught in? I'm kidding.
Oh, no problem at all.
She trails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand.
Ah, Hisao.
There will be blood shed. The man in the mirror nods his head, the only one. She gives a nod of greeting as I sit opposite her at the table. Pluck a chemistry textbook out of my bag and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit there and read, each in our own. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning, though, that the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before makes me keep throwing glances at her. I feel kind of guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so. So I decided to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a secret state. After all, and there is another thing I've only just noticed from her movements. Hey Lily, mind if I ask you a question?
Not at all. Is anything wrong?
I'm just wondering, you're at least part foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting down her book.
I've always been amused at the squeamish people, how squeamish people are about that. Akira's mentioned how much she and I look different from most others before.
Yeah, she doesn't know she's blonde because, remember, she's blind.
The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish.
But a lot of people, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere online that some people actually complain that not a lot of Scottish people are blonde or blue-eyed. So a lot of people were like, but that's just stereotyping. There's probably Scottish people who probably looks just like Lily. Scottish. That was not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort to not blurt out loud. I tried to conjure images of the place in my mind. I think as far as the UK goes, Scotland isn't bad to live in, but I'm not really sure. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question though. I mean, she was born blind. Someone would have told her she was blonde, right? Yeah, probably, but she won't be able to understand it. But you have no accent.
That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign.
Ah, I get it. Hold on, if she moved to the dorm simply due to Akira working longer hours, so they don't live near the school? She gives a small sigh, as if she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front?
No, not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met.
Lily was born blind. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go undullingly prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kinda awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that's their main language there. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change in topic.
That's right. My family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school to keep up my skills and to have qualifications on paper mainly.
I'm guessing when she speaks English, she probably has a Japanese accent. So you're bilingual? That's pretty impressive. Actually, I can speak Filipino a little bit because that was my birth country. I can speak a bit of Japanese because I do Japanese in high school and uni. And I speak English. So, but I'm not that good with Japanese or Filipino. That's why I don't call myself a complete trilingual person.
I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who could speak the language is a large advantage. The English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yuko's help at least. There's a relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps give me some motivation to learn it.
But French was never my strong point. Like, I could fluently understand Filipino, but when I try to speak it, I have a very obvious accent when I speak it. Japanese, I could read most of it, and I could understand most of it. But compared to Filipino, it isn't that well. My best language is English, obviously, because I live in Australia.
Demand for English teachers.
For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher. I was told to be an English teacher IRL. She gives an enthusiastic nod. It must be nice having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kinda envious.
What's wrong?
It's just, I could see as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you.
For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as class representative and her dependable nature, teaching does seem to be a line of work fitting her personality. You took Japanese class for 2 years in school. I could read some of it. Yeah. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It's true though. Waving her hand in front of her dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that, it's just that only one person's ever said that to me before. A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I ended up steering into a troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer her up a little. It was me who went up and got brooding, after all. Want to go grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect. We never studied Japanese. Choices to study Japanese in my school. I want to learn German. I was told German is actually relatively easy to learn. So, I don't know. I even jokingly said to my Japanese professor in uni that if I didn't take Japanese, I would have taken German. And she said to me, I think German would have been a lot easier because the alphabet and their structure is very similar to English. I appreciate the thought, but the food there... Quite a quick redirection in the conversation. She does have a point though. The food there isn't the greatest. Maybe just Shanghai? We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. What is it? I almost forgot. Until you reminded me. Hanako's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to go shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, though. Before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking on my situation too much after all. Everyone here would have their own unique circumstances. The choices to get outside and clear my head will probably do me good. Katawa Shoujo. Bored of standing in place, I watched the television in the shop window. I pulled myself away from the tacky display with little effort. After living at Yamaku, the city seems like a completely different world, an entirely different world. No running in the halls. Common orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classrooms. Students are to exit rooms after checking both directions for oncomers. Elevators are reserved for movement-impaired students. Single file on stairs. I always found English to be more attractive than French, at least for me. Like, people or language? Compared to such strict, most regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade might as well be a strange country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival,
The outside world is much different. It's strange. Having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more natural than Yamaku and the surrounding town ever could. What do you think, Joss? The language? Okay. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any three people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder and the other holding her cane, which taps the ground with a monodrome-like steadiness. Looking over to her, the neutral smile of her still holds. I've only seen her in school uniform. I would not have recognized her as she sat on the bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair. Bare shoulders, Lily, let's go. Hey, my older form also has bare shoulders. Hanako's outfit, like casual outfit, I have the same outfit in real life. You'll be able to see it later, not now. Maybe in the next 2 streams, but yeah, Hanako and I have the same outfit. I can't tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all three. Not that any of those would make the situation any less uncomfortable than it is.
Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Hisao?
The thing is, in Hanako's route, you also go shopping with Lily. There's only one different outcome. Is that, you buy something for Lily as well. Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. I mean, she's also blind, so she probably won't be able to notice that attention. Not really. This is my first time in this city, so I've got no idea of where to go. She frows her brow in thought. Planning a route for us to take, and come to think of it, a way to communicate it. I know something I've noticed in the time I've been with her. When deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have little in way of swiping physical gestures in general, though. So I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature.
Is there a large electronics store near here?
I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothes stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue sign some distance away that fits her description. Yeah, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination, landmarks being our guide. Ice cream! Here you go. 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. I might have ice cream after the stream. I have ice cream in my freezer. 1 vanilla, 1 ice cream, 1 chocolate. My favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla. I know it's basic, but I just like vanilla ice cream. Or here in Australia, we have rainbow ice cream. It's actually toffee caramel, but they put like coloring to make it rainbow. I'm not sure if it's in other countries, but it pops. Rainbow ice cream pops up a lot in Australia. I hand the money over the counter and take the cones to the railing that Lily's sitting on. I can't believe I let her trick me like this. She not only led me to an ice cream stall, but she also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. Yo, the graphics of the game are so realistic. It's a dating sim. That's how dating sims are. They either draw the backgrounds or they just take photos of the background. Sure enough, she's patiently waiting here, where I'd left her. She's patiently waiting where I'd left her. I guess she was planning on making the day an event, rather than a simple shopping trip. There's technically two types of rainbow ice cream. One's just vanilla with color, and the other one is toffee caramel with color. I call up to her, and slowly place the vanilla cone on her outstretched hands, being careful to make sure she gets a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when I first asked her. Here's the change.
It's okay. Keep it.
I moved to protest, but realized that the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my pocket, supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Lily shows no signs of wanting to get up, so I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. The summer weather's nice. Hopefully it would hold out for a while.
You too? I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter.
I prefer winter over summer. Like in Australia, my birthday is during winter. But it's not just because that. I like winter because winter feels more relaxing. I struggle to sleep in summer. And summer's very annoying to move around in. So I always prefer winter. It doesn't snow in Australia, but I've been to the snow once in my life and I enjoyed it. And I also like the scenery of snow, even though I prefer the ocean a lot more. I prefer winter. I like winter. Winter's best season. Don't at me. Winter's best season. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. She draws the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can't go out without bundling up, and you still freeze anyway. Yeah, but it feels nice.
I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't really like the heat very much either.
Also, I'm Australian, of course I complain about the Aussie summers. At least you can wear a skirt, so don't complain about that. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. I idly sit and watch the crowd going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking to Lily, I could see her dutifully licking her ice cream from the top downwards, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting.
Where?
Down a bit. She lowers her mouth from the top of the cone, but has no idea of exactly where the ice cream's dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left and right, where she finally finds it. Snow. I'm Eastern European, so we get intense snowfalls. It's so fun when... I'm kinda jealous. I mean, in Australia, yeah, we don't really snow, but there are areas in my state that does snow. So there are people who has to live with snow. I live in the area where there's no snow, but I live like at most an hour and a half away from a snowy place during winter. To any onlooker, it must seem absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives instructions. A small variant of childhood blindfold games, maybe. In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah, what is it?
Is Akira somewhere over there? I think I heard her.
I raised an eyebrow. I looked in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick out Akira's lone voice in the din. There, you can see her. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit can be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raised a hand and waved to try to catch her attention. Sitao! Hey, Sitao! She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. I wonder who it is. I can't get a good look at whoever it is, though. Before the two begin walking towards where we are. Is it Kenji? You'll see. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off.
Akira.
Hey, you two. She nods towards me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet as they do. Akira flops a head onto her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. Hideaki. I don't believe we met. I'm Hideaki. Pleased to meet you, Hisao. A guy's name? Uh-oh. It's a guy's name. Guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Did you notice? It's the trap, yeah.
Oh, Hideaki's here too. Are you well?
Doesn't he also look familiar? Like someone we've met in the game already? Akira's been taking very good care of me, thank you. That's the yep. Akira grins as if to affirm the point and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His deary face during this is somewhat amusing. You can't date him. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking him around town. Uncle, so this Hideaki is Lily and Akira's cousin, but doesn't he look familiar? Doesn't he look familiar? You'll see. I would have preferred to be spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but Hideaki gives a cough to try and redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does so, though, I find mine wondering. They're related? And further as first cousins? I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideaki, how do you know my name? Akira told me being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? not everyone in Yamaku is disabled. Which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will only accept will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. Did you look it up? Firewall? 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 Did you look it up? I'm guessing you looked it up. No. Are you lying to me? I'm kidding. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Yep, you looked it up. You could tell the chat if you want. Before I could say another word though, he decides to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself, your heart? Akira looks mildly curiously at me. Her interest piqued as well. That sure was a lucky guess. How did you... You show no limbs or deformities, so external disabilities are out. I generally guessed it, chat. Considering the lack of strange mannerisms, it's also likely that you'd have any mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is that of internal disabilities. I don't know which one you might bear, but so I guess. Correctly, as it turns out. And your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I looked to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. He's sharp, yes, but more than a little sympathetic, logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune. In a way, so does his looks. May I ask why you're staring at me? Seriously, I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overstep the spats and clothes as just being coincidental, but the ribbon on his hair really is too much. This is entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone. Akira gives him a sharp jab with her elbow. Told you don't look that much different from her. He coughs into his hand to try and maintain an upright, serious demeanor. I see you've met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I'm Hideaki Hakamichi. You are probably thinking of my sister, Shizune Hakamichi. And that's why Lilly and Shizune are cousins. Bump bump bump. Yeah. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideaki is the son of Akira's uncle and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lilly and Shizune's fathers are brothers-in-law. Therefore, Lilly and Shizune are first cousins? Lilly groans in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The amenity between the two just took on another meaning. I thought it simple. I had simply I can't read. I had thought it simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated. Hand gestures to me, Misha. Lily, I am your cousin. You can choose friends, but you can't choose your family. She gives a half-hearted shrug. She must have. She must have. She must have. I can't read that. She must have not give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. You're. What are you two up? What are you two up to on this fine day?
We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week.
Akira makes a strange face, as if Lily had just said that the sky wasn't blue, and that clouds not white, and the clouds not white. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month?
Yes, why? Is something wrong?
Akira's face seems to collapse as an utterly unbenefiting expression for someone so rowdy and headstrong. The folks didn't call you yet? As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideaki as if to see if he knows anything about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Hey Shorty, sorry, but could you hang out with Hisao for a while? He nods and waves her off. Akira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her out and guides her away out of earshot. And so I'm alone with Shorty. And you've noticed Shizune and Lily's family literally has a trap and a reverse trap. So, nice weather, isn't it?
It seems so.
I guess they dumped us.
Indeed.
What a virtual attempt at small talk. I've got no idea of how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock on his feet in an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is like a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decided to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to search for a present. Coming? Not much else to do. Hello, how are you? In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. Convenience shop? For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of wood-crafted oddities. Altolio's Antiques? An antique store? Well, if there's anything in this town that suit Hanako, I guess it'd be here. I reach for the old-looking door handle and pull it at the last minute as I realize my companion's gone adrift. Not coming in? I'll just be in the newsstand for a while. Don't mind me. His voice makes it painfully clear he has zero interest in what's in the store, and doesn't and that he doesn't feel obliged to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter the store. It's a dating sim, Katawa Shoujo. Enter the door. And enter the store, a door above me ringing out. The musty smell of old books and wooden shelves is distinctly aromatic. I mean, I'm ending stream in 5 minutes. Sorry, but yeah, I also need Katawa Shoujo. It's in the title too. I look to the counter beside the door. The graying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of the place. Slowly wandering through the aisles, the person I'm reminded of as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity in turn isn't Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varying wildly in size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dresses they wear. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be waist high. It's not in my price bracket at all. You flirting my I guess, yeah. Like, because Shizune and Misha is in the same class as Hanako, they'll still kind of plays a smaller role in in Lilly and Hanako's story, because Shizune is cousins with Lilly. She'll still play somewhat of a role in Lilly's story. That's why I always feel like that Rin and Emmy seems to be their own story. Meanwhile Shizune and why Lilly? Can you explain again why Lilly and Shizune are cousins? I forgot. Well, they're dads, basically. Because Lily's mom is the foreigner. Well, Lily's dad is... I think Lily's dad is the brother of Shizune's mom, if I remember. I do the same for each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable, just yet of quality of make, with long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate. Pretty looking and far from gaudy. After I carefully pick it up, I decide to keep looking around the store. I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere or out of simple curiosity. In Hanako's route, you just pick the doll and you just leave. But in Lily's route, there's something else. Peeking around the corner before I go to the next aisle, I see that the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys, from toy cars to intricate automations. Tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice a little plain wooden box. It feels slightly light as I pick it up with my free hand. You buy this for Lily. In Hanako's route, you don't buy the music box at all, but you go to the same store, I think. The lid only needs the smallest movement to pop open, the little metal drum inside beginning to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there, listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take this tiny price tag in my fingers and bring it up to my face. The minuscule cursive writing taking some effort to read. It's affordable, sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid and make my way to the counter with a doll and music box in hand. Freddy Fazbear's theme. I forgot you could see this guy. Damn, Torador March. Technically speaking, that's the Bull Riders theme. When I lay the two on the counter, the man behind it sits up, takes a stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone of my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store with a small, opaque bag in hand. Hideaki being there takes me by surprise. Oh, hi! I thought you'd be at the newsstand. Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us by the fountain with Lilly. At least that solves the issue of trying to find him again. Okay, I'm ending the stream here, so I'll quickly save. Hopefully I don't accidentally delete the multiple choice. Ara choice? Should I? Should I do ara? But didn't you get ara yesterday? Okay. Boop. You expected Mikan, but who you got was me. Older Jaws. I debated your debating. How does that make you feel? I mean, I was kinda tempted to get the Mikan model, but I don't know. The joke probably got old even though I only did it once. So, I hope you guys had fun. As you know, there's going to be no stream tomorrow, and on Monday, well, Monday for you guys, it's actually Tuesday for me. Early Tuesday morning. I'm gonna try stream the Fire Emblem Three Hopes demo, so look forward to that. The demo only has 4 chapters, so hopefully, if you guys enjoy that, I'll consider buying the game. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in 2 days. Goodbye. Ara ara.